Hello and welcome back to the Teresa Santos show here at La Rosa Realty. And today we are going to go over the modification to listing agreement, the new modification to listing agreement. And let me make sure that you all remember which one it is. Modification to listing agreement /6 revised August 2024. These dates are always important for you guys to look at to see when was the last release. And you want to make sure that you're using the updated form. So this is the MLA 6 revised 8/24. So let's get to it. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share with your colleagues so that they can get the training that they need as well. So today we are going to talk a little bit about the modification to listing agreement and when does this apply. Okay. So we have all used it in the past, right? If there was a change in compensation, if we were extending the termination date, if the price and terms were changed, all that, if the compensation had changed. So we're used to filling out the modification of listing agreement with most listings. Okay. This has changed a little bit. Okay. So I want to kind of go over the whole agreement so that you understand how to fill out a modification of listing agreement, but where you're going to need it right now if you have a listing that was done prior to April 1st or prior to March 31st of 2024. You're going to need this modification of listing agreement signed by the seller if your listing was before April 1st. Okay. But I'm going to go through the whole document, okay, so that you can understand. Okay, so we're going to go modification to listing agreement. Owner or seller. Who's the owner or the seller? You're going to put that in here. And the brokerage. Again, the broker, not the agent, not you. Your brokerage goes here. Okay, agree to amend the Florida Association of Realtors Check 1. Now, we all know that we use the exclusive right of sale listing agreement. This is the one we use right here, number 1. Okay. Or if it was an exclusive right to lease. Okay. We do not use exclusive brokerage listing agreement. We use the exclusive right of sale listing agreement. And we use the exclusive right to lease listing agreement. Okay. So it's either going to be, if it's a lease, this one. If it's a sale, this one. Okay. And you're going to put regarding the property described as, put the address and copy the legal description. In case you make a mistake with the address, by a number, by a letter, by anything, just copy and paste the legal description from the county records. Okay. So the address and the legal description. By use of this form, the parties agree to add the following language to all listing agreements where it is not already included, right? Brokerage commissions are not set by law and are fully negotiable. This is, again, the verbiage that is being used in all the new contracts, okay? Brokerage commissions are not set by law and are fully negotiable. All right. So now this is usually something that we're already familiar with, right? If they want to change the termination date of the original contract, or they want to change the price and the terms of the original contract, or they want to change the compensation from the original contract, right? So all these things we've already used to. They've added this a little bit more in detailed because it didn't have all this. Remember that it only had certain things. So again, compensation to broker will be whatever percentage of total purchase price plus whatever bonus or whatever, and or whatever other thing you want to put in there. Or a percentage of the gross value of the lease, if this is for a lease, or the first month's rent, or a flat fee. That's if it's a lease. Seller authorizes compensation to buyer's broker as follows: percentage of total purchase price or a flat fee paid by the broker. Percentage of total purchase price or paid by the seller. Check here if seller does not authorize compensation to buyer's broker. Remember that we said in our prior training, if they do not want to offer compensation to buyer's broker, we are not taking on the listing as a brokerage because we are a cooperating brokerage and we want to cooperate with our buyers agents. Okay. All right, brokerage commissions are not set by law and are fully negotiable. Again, that same verbiage, right? Compensation to tenants, consumers, brokers will be, again, this is, if you're changing any compensation. But what I want you to do is, if this is a listing and the terms are staying exactly the same, but the listing was done before April 1st, 2024, which it actually says prior to March 31st, 2024, okay? But same thing, April 1st. Listing agreement date prior to March 31st, you have to check this box. If all the other terms stayed the same, you just need to check this box right here to add the following verbiage to any contracts that were prior to March 31st, 2024, right? The National Association of Realtors proposed settlement prohibits any requirements conditioning participation in the Realtor MLS on offering and or accepting offers of compensation to buyer, consumer, brokers, or any other buyer, consumer representatives. Accordingly, any reference to any requirement that compensation will be offered in order to list the property on the MLS is hereby deleted. Okay, so basically, remember in the original contract, it was sharing how much was going to be shared on the MLS. There was verbiage on the old contract that stipulate that compensation will be shared on the MLS. That is not happening anymore. And don't forget, I am not an attorney. This is for educational purposes only. And I hope you read the disclosure before this video. Okay. If you have any legal questions, always direct to an attorney, and also direct your buyer or seller to an attorney if they have legal questions, because we are not attorneys. This is for educational purposes only. Okay. Now, fee to broker if deposit retained. Okay, so anything here, right? They've added a lot of other things to this modification of listing agreement. So take a moment to read through it so that you understand what the modifications will be, okay? Again, this is if they want to terminate it, if the parties agree to conditionally terminate the agreement and pay a cancellation fee, the leasing fee to broker. So whatever it is, it's all in here, right? But the main thing I wanted to get across with this modification of listing agreement is that if it was a listing prior to March 31st, you have to send them a modification to listing agreement, not a compensation disclosure, like we discussed in a prior class, okay? Check this box right here and send it to them if all terms of the prior contract still stay the same, right? You're not changing the compensation, you're not changing the termination day, you're not changing anything except disclosing this to your seller or buyer, okay? And that is it for this form, okay? So make sure that it is signed, that you put in here when it was delivered, executed, how it was delivered, okay? Because you want to make sure that you have a date here and how you delivered a copy of this modification, okay? And again, broker has to sign this with La Rosa Realty until further notice, okay? Eventually, you guys will be able to be the authorized sales associate, but for right now, everything is being reviewed and signed by the brokerage for your protection. We want to make sure that these forms are filled out correctly so that you don't get in trouble, that the broker doesn't get in trouble, and that you don't get fines and the broker doesn't get fines. So for right now, I know it's a little, frustrating. I know that it's a little, hectic to have that happen, but it's for your protection. And once we all are comfortable that you guys know exactly what you're doing, we will release that back to you as an authorized associate to be able to sign. But for right now, we need to protect you and the brokerage. So please be patient. And that is it for the modification of listing agreement and when you need to send that out as of August 2024, which is when I'm recording this. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you on my next training.